All right, it's 5:30. I'll call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. There's a flag in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have all members of the board present, along with administration and members of the public. And just another reminder, please make sure you sign in at the back. First, we'll start with public comment. Public comment is reserved for items that are not on the agenda. It is for members of the public to give input on public matters, not personal issues. To avoid violations of privacy, a member of the public wishing to address the board will not be allowed to make comments about any student, staff member, or member of the public during his or her time to speak. To maintain order and allow everyone the opportunity to speak, the chair shall limit an individual's time to 3 minutes. And a reminder, this is for comment only, it's not questions and not for discussion. So who would like to speak tonight? Yeah.
Tim, do I need to hold this up?
Yes, please.
My name is Lauren Robbins, and if we're ready, we'll start. I want to be very clear about something at the outset. I was never opposed to a 4-day school week, and even now, I don't really have a strong preference one way or the other. My concern has always been, and continues to be, our students. When the push for a 4-day school week first began, I asked administration a very important question. Given that the available data shows that 4-day school weeks are not often beneficial for student outcomes, what safeguards would be put into place to ensure that Philipsburg students would not fall into that pattern? One of the administrators said, we're going to wing it and then go from there. I said then, and I still believe now, that that approach is not acceptable when children's education is at stake. That moment instantly painted me as an enemy to this cause. However, the response to my question was disappointing, but how I was treated is not the issue here. The issue is our students. At some point, we have to stop turning a blind eye to data. Data doesn't carry emotion or any personal agendas. It simply reflects reality. And right now, that reality should concern all of us. Using the comparison that Mr. Gates raised last meeting between Philipsburg and Drummond, instructional time is nearly identical. Yet Drummond is performing near the top of the state, while Philipsburg is performing in the bottom 5%. This can be found on OPI. That suggests that the schedule itself is likely not the determining factor. It points instead to issues of leadership, administration, and how our schools are being run and supported. I want to be clear that this is not about denying grace or ignoring the complexity of education. But grace without accountability comes at a cost, and that cost is being carried by our students. In many professions, prolonged poor outcomes result in change. If a surgeon had negative patient outcomes year after year, they would not continue business as usual. If in one of my previous careers, I repeatedly fell trees on customers' homes, I would not expect to keep my job without serious evaluation and improvement. Education should not be held to a lower standard. Our students deserve the best we have to offer. So my question to the board is this: how will you ensure that parents are fully informed, welcomed when they seek involvement, and given transparent access to information? And what concrete steps are being taken now to turn around student outcomes? Because at the end of the day, this conversation is not about adults, it's not about politics or preferences. It is about whether our system is truly serving the children it exists for. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Who would like to go next? I will. Okay.
To the members of the school board and those who have joined us today, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak and do my part of saying why the 4 days should stay. Over the past couple of years, our schools operated on a 4-day school week. While returning to a traditional 5-day school schedule may seem like an ideal choice, the 4-day week has proven to be more beneficial for students, teachers, and the school community as a whole. For these reasons, our school should continue with the 4-day schedule. One major benefit of a 4-day school week is improved student well-being. Having an extra day off allows students more time to rest, catch up on sleep, and manage stress. Many students use the extra day off to complete homework, study for exams, or participate in extracurricular activities. As a result, students often come to school more focused, motivated, and ready to learn during the 4 instructional days. The 4-day school week also helps teachers and staff. Teachers can use the extra day for lesson planning, grading, and professional development while taking time away from instruction. This leads to better prepared lessons and less burnout among staff. At our school, we have a large population of teachers that aren't from Philipsburg and have to drive long distances. The less driving the teachers have to do, the less stressed they are. When teachers are less stressed and better prepared, classroom learning improves for students. Another important advantage is cost savings for the school. Operating 1 fewer day each week reduces expenses related to transportation, utilities, and cafeteria services. These savings can be redirected towards educational resources, technology, and student programs. Keeping the 4-day week allows a school to use its budget more efficiently. Finally, attendance often improves with a 4-day schedule. Appointments and family comments can be scheduled on the off day, meaning fewer students miss class. Better attendance leads to stronger academic performance and more consistent learning environment. In conclusion, the 4-day school week supports student health, teacher effectiveness, financial responsibility, and attendance. Returning to a 5-day schedule will remove these benefits and place unnecessary stress on students and staff. For these reasons, our school should remain on a 4-day school week. Just remember, the students are the one waking up every morning. Do your share in helping our school stay at the best it can be. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Ella. You can go next, okay?
For the minutes, going extemporaneous should scare everybody. Some of you know me, I'm Bert Jones. I've been in the community. I've lived here for about 11 years. And I don't have kids in the school, but all 3 of my kids went through the public schools up in Kalispell, Montana. When I first got to town here, our school was really a model. I mean, it was really something that the town was very proud of, and everybody was proud of because the performance was so high. Kids were coming from out of town and out of our district to come to this school because it was the best opportunity in the area, and the academics were amazing. We had great support for special ed programs like the 504 programs, the IEPs. We had really great qualified instructors who were helping. We had in-person dual credit classes. They were helping kids earn college credit. And a lot of them took advantage of it. And it was an amazing program. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first in the state to offer dual credit. We're on this trajectory now that is concerning to me, and is concerning to me because it's so widely out there in the community. And that trajectory is opposite, where kids are now homeschooling or going to outside schools to get the best education possible. I think this trajectory that we're seeing has somehow been reframed as a referendum on a 4-day school week. And the people I talk to don't care about the 4-day school week, except in as much as it may impinge on preparing our kids to go to the next level, academically or as training for a vocation, whatever it is. The crux of the issue is how are we training our kids? There is talk in the community, stuff you can pick up on OPI about our performance compared to Drummond, about us being a targeted school, which I'm not even sure exactly what that means, but it can't be good. And the point is, if the board and the administration will commit to transparency, having open forums, not hear what I heard when I was on the board about you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't do that. When I was a board member, it frustrated me. As a community member, even more so. I think it behooves all of you to solicit input and fix the problems, acknowledge the problems, fix the problems, and get back to where we were 11 years ago when I got here. Thanks for your time.
All right, Ella.
Good evening, members of the school board, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today about why the 4-day school week should remain in our district. The 4-day schedule has a positive impact on students' mental health, motivation, and overall performance. Having one extra day to rest, complete work, study, and participate in sports, jobs, or family responsibilities helps students feel less overwhelmed and more balanced. When we return to school after the longer weekend, many of us feel more focused and ready to learn. A healthy balance between school and personal life helps prevent burnout and supports better behavior and academic effort in the classroom. After talking with many classmates and peers, there's also a strong concern about what would happen if we return to a 5-day school week. Several students said they have considered transferring to Drummond because they prefer the flexibility and balance that the 4-day schedule provides. Losing students would not only affect school spirit and enrollment, but would also impact funding and class sizes. Keeping the 4-day week helps our school remain competitive and appealing to families in our area. In addition, many students believe that absences would increase if we went back to 5-day. With more school days, students would likely miss class for appointments, work obligations, or mental health breaks. The extra day off currently allows families to schedule appointments without pulling students out of class, helping improve attendance and consistency in learning. Another important point is that our students are still receiving the same quality of education as we would in a 5-day week. Our longer 56-minute class period with a 29-minute advisory session in the morning gives teachers enough time to fully explain lessons, answer questions, and make sure students understand the material. It also gives students time to start or complete assignments in class, which reduces stress and improves learning. 100% of students and 72% of parents, according to the 4-day school week parent survey, prefer the 4-day schedule because a longer class period allows us to stay focused, be more productive, and actually understand what we are learning instead of feeling rushed. Overall, the 4-day school week supports students' success, improves attendance, keeps students engaged, and helps our school remain strong and competitive. I respectfully encourage you to continue this schedule for the benefits of students, staff, and to our community. Thank you for your time, consideration, and listening to students' voices. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Brandy Brown, and I've served this school district as a substitute teacher, a para, a secretary, and a parent for over 20 years. First, I want to address the faculty and administration. I have the utmost respect and admiration for each of you and the work that you guys do every day. I have personally witnessed the improvements and positive changes that have been made over the past few years. You have transformed the overall dynamics, morale, and happiness of our school for both students and staff. These changes have increased excitement for learning, for teaching, classroom experiences, extracurricular activities, and athletics. The level of respect, communication, and positive interaction throughout our school is a huge accomplishment, and I sincerely thank you and commend you for it. I now want to talk about the support that I have for the 4-day school week. Since this change, I've witnessed a noticeable improvement in student attitudes, energy levels, and the desire to learn and be involved in school life. Our teachers have always shown dedication and commitment to providing a safe and a positive and engaging learning environment. However, with the 4-day week, students are coming back more focused, refreshed, and ready to learn. The 3-day break allows students time for sports, homework, personal responsibilities, and it helps them to return to school with renewed energy and motivation. As a result, students are learning more effectively and retaining more information. I have also seen stronger relationships within our school community. Respect, communication, friendships, and the cooperation among students and between students and staff have improved. Students are helping one another with schoolwork, with projects and athletics, and showing greater respect for their peers and their teachers. These positive changes speak for themselves and demonstrate the value of continuing the 4-day school week. I believe it has played a significant role in the progress we're seeing today, and our community should be proud and grateful for our school system and everyone who is contributing to their success.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Sue?
Thank you. I'm Sue Sweeney. As we continue to assess the Pardon?
Pick up the mic.
Oh, sorry. As we continue to assess the benefits and challenges of the 4-day week, I believe we've lost the focus of what schools are all about, the students. Instead of approaching this with the lens of should we keep the 4-day, the discussion should revolve around the question, how will this help to improve student outcomes? A small shift in mindset can make a huge difference. Last month, survey results were shared. When parents were asked if the 4-day has affected your child academically, it would be hard for parents to think other than positive when well over 80% of our students are on the honor roll. Although this is the perception the school is giving, less than 20% are able to score at grade level in math and less than 50% in reading. This gap needs to be addressed. Why are our students struggling? Is it that the curriculum is not matching the assessments? Do we need to take a good look at our grade level and content area expectations? Do students have enough time for independent practice? The beautiful thing about surveys is that it can help you generate more questions to help answer how will this improve student outcomes. Another survey question for parents and staff was whether there was enough time to finish the curriculum. There is a big difference between finishing a curriculum and students actually mastering it. If that question was worded, do at least 50%, or my child in the parent case, master grade level or content area curriculum by the end of the year, those results may have been dramatically different. If 70% of the staff still say yes, that mastering is occurring, then that same question needs to be addressed. Why is there a significant gap between mastery, perception of mastery, and test scores? And how can we improve these student outcomes? It was also shared that 6 of the 7 schools in our district are on the 4-day week. Of those 6, only 2 are currently in good standing academically with OPI, Lincoln and Drummond. Drummond's calendar was compared to ours, but it was not mentioned that Drummond recognized a decline in scores right away and changed to a hybrid model where the first Friday of each month was added as an instructional day. These Fridays tend to stay instructional compared to the Fridays that Philipsburg added that revolved around homecoming, Halloween, Christmas, and outdoor days. I challenge you to all use this data and tonight's data that we're going to receive to generate more questions. These questions will help you make laser-focused goals to help improve student learning. School improvement is hard work, and you have some amazing teachers who know how to do that work. But there's not time in the calendar for teacher collaboration or PD, although that is a strategic planning goal. Please put on the lens of improving student outcomes first and foremost in your decision-making. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Dustin?
I'm going to take part of my 3 minutes. I know we have some Granite County police officers back here, and I know that we should be supporting everybody in our community, and I think they need a little support.
I think it's on the music, yeah. There you go.
All right. So I'm just going to speak loud. I've used my coach's voice. I just think we all have to realize we're all on the same team, and this is all about the kids. I was an administrator, 11 years ago, 13 years ago, and all those programs that were talked about, special ed, 504, all that, we have those. We still have the college classes, those types of things. Those are still here. And I actually agree with a lot of the things that Sue said. But I think that it's great that people are here. They're getting informed. It's also about how you talk, how you communicate. Okay, that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm not out to get anybody, but I'm going to speak the way I feel. There's no words. This is a letter to the administrators. Okay, there's no words that you can speak to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. Some people don't listen to understand. They listen to the story they've already decided. You can try to explain yourself clearly, calmly, honestly, emotionally, but they still twist your intentions into something that fits their narrative. I'm not saying that about everybody. So trying to win over someone who is invested in misreading you is like emotional quicksand. I'm sure you're tired of banging your head against the wall. Just know that the harder that you try, the deeper you're going to sink. And in the end, you're going to lose your trust, your self-respect, and your whole sense of reality. All in an effort to satisfy someone who never really wanted to understand you in the first place. So, the number one thing that I teach my own children is how to treat other people. all right? I literally told my son this week that I don't care about his grades as much as I care about him being kind and respectful. I heard a quote that read, "Never look down on anyone unless you're helping them up." Okay? At this school, we help each other up. And we have not helped each other up any better than we have since our current administration has been here. Because I've been here for 13 years. Our school culture is amazing because your kindness towards our kids, our test scores, as I'm sure you're going to be happy to share eventually, are solid. Our teachers are amazing. Our students are incredible. Thank you for being great people. Philipsburg Schools is a great place to work because of the teachers, because of who's in this building, because of the people. We're in a good place, and sometimes someone needs to stand up and say, thank you. All right? I appreciate the administration. I appreciate everybody that gets on the school board, our community. Thank you to everyone who came to support the school tonight. It means a lot.
All right, is there anyone else?
All right. First name Josh, last name Birch. So I want to speak on this 4-day school week vote coming up. I'm going to start off by unfortunately stating what no one is willing to say. This really isn't about 4-day school weeks, or the students are not learning because we are not a 5-day school week. What this really about is a handful of people that I'm sure are in this room tonight that dislike our current superintendent. This is nothing but good old-fashioned small-town bullying. This is just another way for these individuals to try and tear down the superintendent and try to make him look bad.
Josh, we can't talk about individuals.
They have already succeeded in bullying the elementary superintendent out of here.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to stop you if you're gonna talk about individuals. That's not what this public comment is for.
I'm going to continue. I just find it laughable that these same people that used to work here are the ones trying to get him out of here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They are the ones that left the school.
If you can't stop, I will have to ask you.
So I'll finish up.
All right, so just to be clear, public comment is not for comments about any individual staff member, member of the public, or students. So if anybody else has a general comment they'd like to make, they can come up at this time.
I do.
Okay?
Well, I didn't do because I had a lot longer, but, the one thing I want to say is.
Pick up the mic, please.
The one thing I want to say is that I know that everyone here, every one of you, all of you included, the administration and the board, and all these people, all we want is the best for the kids and the students, right? And we want them to learn, and we want them to have fun, and we want them to be refreshed after their long weekend. And that's all I have to say. I just have a couple things of input to say, and that's it. But I'd like to, it'll be interesting to see if there's changes in any plans. I enjoyed working 10-hour days when I worked here in the summertime all the time. I'm not against it, but I am for the students and I'm mostly worried about our test scores and what the students are learning, and the disconnect between the disconnect that comes along when the kids are on the honor roll, but then where our school is in the bottom 5% of, with the state outcomes. So I have to say that comparing us to Drummond works to the schedule, but that's where it stops. Drummond made changes to theirs and did their hybrid, and their test scores show that. We don't compare there. Only our schedules are comparing now. I don't believe, according to OPI, that our test scores have really improved much. They have with math in a few classes here and there, but that's not how test scores work at OPI. If you look at OPI, the test scores have not gone up, so saying they have is misleading. But I know what Mr. Keltner's saying with his math classes. I understand that too, and that's all a good thing. The survey for the public wasn't that easy to get to. I know my 92-year-old aunt was kind of sad she couldn't fill one out, but she couldn't make it to the school. I believe that in the previous survey, probably, I'm thinking that before that staff retention, I think that that was taken for all the staff that were here before the 4-week began, were in that little number of 60%. But how many teachers were retained when they were hired after the 4-day week? I'm thinking 2, and I can count 7 or more that lasted 1 year or less. So retention really doesn't have anything to do with it. I think teachers would teach here whether they were 4 or 5 days, because we have a great community and a great school, and there are great people here to work with. So anyway, I had a little more, but I'll stop because I'll talk to you again another day.
Is there anyone else? Lucinda.
I did remember my glasses. I'm currently employed by the district as the kitchen director, head cook. Over the past 8 years, I have also worked as a substitute and a paraprofessional at the elementary school. During the time my children have attended school here, there have been at least 5 different administrations. Under the 5-day school week, attendance was very difficult for our family due to my son's disabilities. He required weekly occupational and physical therapy appointments, which caused him to miss at least 1 day of school every week. In addition to those appointments, there were also times when doctor visits required him to miss additional days. This resulted in attendance issues that were completely beyond his control and ultimately caused him to miss close to 30 days of school, an entire month. When the current administration proposed moving to a 4-day school week, I strongly supported it. For our family, this change made an enormous difference. My son was able to attend school consistently with his peers without sacrificing essential medical care. The 4-day week simply worked for us, and I believe there are other parents of exceptional children who feel the same way. My son excelled and was eventually inducted into the National Honor Society. I recognize that the transition brought staff changes, including people leaving or being let go. Change is not easy, and not everyone adapts quickly. Over the years, I have also learned that growth requires evolution and adjustment, even when it is uncomfortable. I also have serious concerns about the financial feasibility of switching back to a 5-day week. I do not believe the district can do so easily or responsibly. In my opinion, returning to a 5-day schedule would be more detrimental to students, especially those who have already adjusted to the 4-day week. Stability matters, and many students are now accustomed to this structure. Additionally, I do not believe it is fair to rely solely on test scores pulled from the internet to evaluate student success. Test results do not reflect what a child may be dealing with outside of school, which can significantly affect performance. Some students do not fully engage in testing at all and simply rush through it, making the data unreliable. Finally, I would like to ask, where is parental accountability in this conversation? The responsibility for low test scores or poor grades cannot rest solely on the school. While teachers should absolutely be held accountable, students must also take responsibility for their learning, and parents must be held accountable for supporting their child's education. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Stephanie?
I will use my teacher voice, although it's a little shaky right now. So, bear with me, I did not write a speech. I'm here as a parent, and I really want to come and rip on our superintendent, but I can't do that. But really, I am here as a parent to speak to parents, and my question to all of other parents out there, what are we doing? Because I want Tommy to quit, right? This is hard on my family, okay? But we are losing good people because of the way we are acting towards them. So it needs to stop. I know data, I love data. I was a teacher and I made data-driven decisions every day as well. I want to see the data. I do, but tell me what's working. Start coming up here and telling these people what is working, and let's start building off of that. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else? Yes.
Sorry, I'm really nervous. I can get up in front of the kids all day long, but I had a daughter that graduated from here. And let me tell you, this community is fabulous. My oldest son graduated from a graduation class of 1,500. That's half the population of Granite County. My son was a test score. He was a faceless name in a crowd. That school district had 18,000 students. Can you imagine your child going to school every day being taught by a stranger? Never once did I meet principals. I did not see them interacting in classes. I did not see them taking over library to help. Never once did I meet a superintendent because he was godlike and so far above everybody else that he didn't want to mix with the minions. What we have here is extraordinary. I have only been working here since 2024, but I've seen this school in action by my daughter being here, and I can definitely tell you her want to be at school and her want to do things in this community changed dramatically and positively when our administration came in. Because I have seen more support for us as teachers and staff and kids than I ever saw out of the previous ones that were here. I didn't know them exactly personally, but I saw how my daughter reacted, and to me, that means more than anything else. And I would much rather my daughter move back here, get married, and my grandkids come to this school because I have seen the extraordinary measures that these teachers go through every day. And I think that's amazing. And I couldn't even imagine going back to a school where my children were just a test. There's so much more going on inside our classrooms than just test scores. I watch kids take tests. They come down to this bedroom and they're a nervous wreck. Do you really think kids are going to remember everything that they're learning when they're worried about, oh my gosh, I got to do good on this test? No. They're nervous and worried and panicking, and they're like, oh my gosh, my mom and dad are going to be so mad at me. There's so much more going on in our classrooms. And our teachers come every day and they bring the full force of everything they have. I've seen it with all of them. And I stand in 100% support of them and our administration because I see it every day at work. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'd like to say something.
Sure, Bob.
Hopefully you can hear me. You all know who I am. I'm Bob McGuire. I'm the head of maintenance here at Philipsburg School. Just not having the kids, faculty, whoever here on Fridays is a huge savings in energy. To turn all the lights on in both these buildings has to be astronomical. I don't know what the big problem is with the 4-day week. Personally, I love it. I was retired before I came here, and now they're wanting to go back to a 5-day week. I'm not going to do that. I like to have Fridays when the kids and faculty isn't here to repair things. Trust me, as someone that fixes things all the time, you have to have a day where no one is there, where you can call someone that is at work to order things, to buy things, to make our school keep running. The thing that scares me the most about our current situation in the county is we're having an influx of people that don't have kids. Anything we can do to draw faculty and kids to this school is beneficial. The 4-day week is part of that. I don't really know what else to say other than I think we all need to be kinder to one another. Thank you.
Okay, last call. And one more person? Is there anyone else? Okay, thank you all for your input. Moving on, our next item is approve the minutes.
Please stay, because we do have a video to show that will put some more positive. Like, just please stay, don't leave.
I move to approve the minutes from January 13, 2026 regular board meeting.
I second. Does the board have any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Moving on to correspondence, recognition of individuals, and the administrative reports. So in our board packets, we have correspondence from students and faculty, and then that's for everyone's review. And we'll start with the elementary principal report.
Can we start with the video?
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the video. We'll start with the video.
So with you 3 board members, sorry, if we could pull chairs and move out, I'm gonna hit the lights. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. Heavy topics, but I think everybody, it does have to be open, and you know, just to show a light of our schools. We've been working really hard on this. This is not the final product. We do want to add pieces, but just to shine some light of the positivity that is going on in the school. This is a 13-minute recruitment video that you know, showcases the school, the students, and the town. And why I say it's not finished is I do have some local businesses in there that missed out, and I want to make sure that they're seen as well, because if it's a recruitment video, you know, looking out here, I want people to know, hey, I can get a haircut in Philipsburg, Montana. I can go to the grocery store in Philipsburg, Montana. I can go to the dentist in Philipsburg, Montana. I can go to the hospital. We're missing some things. There's a hardware store. So without further ado, for enjoyment, for the kids, for the parents, this is something we're working on that's not finished.
We come out, dominate, enforce our will. Now let's go. Good work. Have fun this weekend. Be smart. Enjoy this win. We've got Annis next week. We're going to say, let's go. Let's put it in. Right, don't drink. 1, 2, 3, Giants.
Hey guys, this is Eric Minskin, producer and director of the Philipsburg School District promo you just watched. You watched Jake and Addie give us a tour of the community. We're wrapping up the production of this video you just watched. I tried to get Jake and Addie come up here and do a tour. However, school work is a priority and they have finals while I'm down here. So I figured I'd just come up here and kind of run you through one of the other big draws of living and working in Philipsburg, the Discovery Ski Area, Disco Inferno. We're gonna get off the chairlift here and give you a little tour.
So like I said, that is not finished. There's still work to be done. If anybody has any ideas or comments, you want to email, come ahead and talk to me, put it on a PDF. We can go over and we can keep making that better. Like I said, you don't stop in Chicago when you're going to New York. I feel like we're halfway there. I want to make it better. I want to make it short hyperlinks too, so it's not such a long video. Like it could be the students, the school, the town. And that way people are watching like a minute and a half and not the whole thing, and it's hyperlinked. So the idea, the dreams there, the foundation's there, like with everything, I think we can do great things. And it's just want to showcase it, showcasing the town, because we are a community. It takes a community to raise children.
Thank you for that. All right. Okay, next we have the elementary principal report. Does the board have any questions for Maggie? Or Maggie, anything you want to pass on?
No, I just want to thank the board for all their support over the years I've been here, and I appreciate all the students and the families that were supportive of me. And it was a really great opportunity, and I learned and I grew a lot, and very appreciative for my time here. So thank you.
A little something for you. Thank you.
Thanks to everyone, really, especially, such a great staff and such great people to work with every day. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your professionalism, your care of the students, all your time and dedication and everything that you've done here. We're going to miss you, but we wish you all the best in your next endeavor that you go on. And I do want to talk to our community as a whole. Without the dedication of our administrators and staff, we really don't have a school here. And if all of the negative comments and the harassment become the norm, we are not going to find supportive people that want to come here. We are going to gain a reputation of being a place that educators do not want to come to, and it makes me very concerned for the future of our school. Last year, the board and staff and administration spent many hours working on a 5-year strategic plan to put in place of how we are going to build the school and make it the best it could possibly be. We opened it up for the community to be involved, that anybody could come help us build this plan. We had a few people that showed up, but not very many. And then even last week, we had a quarterly review of our plan that was open for everybody to come, hear what we are doing, what we are planning, how we want to move forward. And we had 5 people attend to listen to where we are at. This is your chance as a community to get involved, to help us make this a better place, to help solve any of these issues that we've been talking about and how we can all work together to make it better. So I encourage you all to come out. I am grateful for all of you who are sharing your positive feedback. We do need to continue to hear that. Constructive feedback and accountability matter, but there's a difference between working together to improve and tearing people down. And we're just trying to serve our students here. Everyone here deserves respect and support. And if we want strong leaders to stay or new leaders to come in, we need to be a positive community that shows up positively for our staff, our administration, and our students. And that is what we are all here for. And our students deserve nothing less. Thank you. So the next is the superintendent report.
I wanted to just comment that I appreciate Mrs. Talon's time. She was my swim buddy, as special operations people say. And what I tell students, we have each other's back. We support each other. One of the Prospector mottos is, don't leave anybody behind. We work together as a team. Always have somebody there. Work as a team. Don't do it alone, and you're never alone. Once a prospector, always a prospector. And so Maggie, I wish you luck in your future endeavors. You're going to do great. I think that curriculum team that got you is one lucky devil that stole you from us. Like, I'm saddened that you're leaving. I'm happy for you. I think you're going to sell really good, and you're going to be a great worker. It was our loss, their gain. I appreciate everything you've done for the students of our community, between the library and the curriculums and the odd jobs. You've done an outstanding job, and you're going to be very, very hard to replace. And on that note, I don't want to replace Mrs. Talon with the first name that comes up just to fill the spot. I want to make sure that the students of Philipsburg are served with the same admirability as Maggie Talon. She did amazing. And I hope we can find somebody that can replace that light and it's going to be very hard to replace you, very hard. I think we're going to be fine, but we're going to be calling you a lot for help too. So we appreciate you, I appreciate you.
I appreciate all of you.
When I call, don't hit ignore, please.
No. Send a voicemail.
Yeah.
No, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, does the board have any questions for Tom on the superintendent report? Anything else you want to point out?
Just, I put the picture right there, guys, of the ladder. It's important to take smaller steps. I know we want to see leaps and bounds. I know we want to see these great strides. Like, I do too. But if I can visualize this right here, you can only jump so high before you fail. Like, I used a reference a few years back ago on a PD, it's like pulling a bow back. You know you're pulling that bow back and you're putting in all that effort and that work and that time. And a community might not understand that we are in that pulling a bow back. New administration, the COVID thing got over, we're on this 4-day. I think once this arrow takes off, there's no stopping it. We're building a flywheel, and it's really hard to get this flywheel pushed, but only with support and respect can we get this off the ground and moving. And once it gets going, there's no stopping us. There's no stopping me. I come from a stock of Golden Glove boxers. My dad was the Golden Glove boxers of Montana, North Dakota, and I'm a fighter. I'm not going to not fight for our students. I'm not going to not fight for our community. I'm not going to not fight for our school. Last week I was at the superintendent meeting with all the superintendents in Western Montana, and we all had the same common voice. What is wrong with our MONCAS test? When it shows that the state of Montana's 2% proficient or 20% proficient, why isn't OPI talking about their test? All the superintendents agreed. When we asked OPI about it, they said the same is happening across the board. Superintendents are questioning the test. Is OPI going to have ownership and put out a statement? We don't know. What districts are doing is finding their own district assessments, whether it's MAPS, DIBELS, and sticking with what we know. We're using DIBELS. We're using Ed Ready because it's free. We had IXL, it cost money. We're trying to find ways that are financially correct for us and still have interventions for students. We're setting systems in place. We're retaining what we can. We're recruiting as much as possible, and we're trying to build this place up so that it is great forever. I have a student that's first grader. I want to make it great forever. I don't want to go on a tangent either, but here's our student numbers so everybody knows. I just want to point out, we have 38 students in the high school. One's at the Job Corps, so we have 37 9th through 12th graders, 37. We have 29 7th and 8th graders. So combined in the high school, we have 67 that show up every day. Okay? And out of those 67, if you take the numbers for volleyball, basketball, football, and if they're away, how many are here for instruction? Right? When we had COVID and if we had less than 50% of the class, school was canceled and we had to make it up because we couldn't teach the kids. They weren't here. Sports do marry in with school, and they're not going anywhere either. We're going to have the sports. They're going to continue. We only need to figure out how to put them on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. There's still going to be sports. Froshmore football's on Monday. The middle school sports, that's in there as well. But we need to work together and figure out how are we going to make it work. I'm interested to see what our numbers will do. I got a report. I did put our spring count. Spring count numbers are at 151. We have 151 students K through 12. In years past, we were about 183, 173. We can pull up the reports. You can get those from OPI. If we're down 30 students, let's just do simple math, $5,000 per student. We were down $150,000 compared to a couple years ago. We can't afford to have 2 English teachers, 2 math teachers, 2 history teachers. We have to be innovative. We have to streamline. And we have online sources. The kids have the same opportunities today as they had 15 years ago. It just looks different. We had to adapt. That's what we can afford. Infrastructure, like here's a picture of what Bob's working on. He put a new back door in, took the sinks out of the bathroom. That's just another day in Bob's world, making this place better. I know it doesn't seem like a lot to a lot of people, but that's huge to our school. That's really important. Like this back door, you can see where the door handle was, but the door was snapped in half. So people could go in and out of our back door. And I didn't want to put it out to the whole world because there was no way to keep kids from coming in and out. Now that's fixed and we have safety and security. There was a racquetball that went into our heater. It got fixed and it was paid for by the Keyser Ball Group. So even, I'm going, here's our honor rolls. Here's our prospector of the week, our Winterfest dance. Us doing our Mrs. Talent teaching library or teaching reading.
6th grade.
6th grade. Principal report. Nothing I got to point out unless we have questions. Otherwise, we have more we can hit.
Your attendance, was that just in a month?
Attendance, what I do with these is I go from the last board meeting to this board meeting. And so our attendance right now, just in the month, 9th grade's at about 88%, 10th grade 92, 11th 94, 12th 83, 7th 91, 8th 91.
Great. Do you guys have any questions for Tom? Okay, thank you. Next item is the PTO update.
Holly, you're up. We did have a 50-50 raffle last week at the basketball games. We brought in $360, and we'd like to thank Stephanie. She's here tonight. She donated that money to us. So we're going to use that money to purchase supplies for the kids. We haven't made an order yet, but it was really fun. We had a blast. We might do it again. So thanks to everybody that came in for your tickets. And then we'll have our next meeting in the spring and our big fundraiser in the summer at the car show.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a Booster Club update?
Well, I'll be leading that role too, so we'll have to definitely find somebody to hand the reins.
The last
The
person
last man
standing. If anybody's interested in Booster, I'm recruiting. I feel being a part of a small school, you have to wear a lot of hats and do a lot of things, and you get the same people kind of pitching in and doing stuff over and over and over, like me on the school board and on the Booster and part of the volleyball team and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you guys have frustrations or, you want to see things improve, grab a shovel, pitch in, sign
Pull your
up,
chair up.
help out.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, Booster's recruiting.
And have been for a couple of years.
Yeah, right.
So throw your hat in the ring.
All right, thanks you guys.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to our 4-day review of the additional data for this month.
I did put in, just to point out, we have our spring A and B numbers right there. There it shows we went from 159 to 151, K-12, 83 in the elementary, 89 to 83, 30 to 29, 159 to 151. And that's where your money is based off of is your students. So if we can get some more babies going out there, it would be helpful. Through in the 5th grade from OPI with the licensure that was approved, so it's in there for the packet. The price for the elementary heater that had to be fixed, $738. Okay, 4-day. All right, I think I'll start with the middle. I called all 7 of the schools that I put out on the picture of the people we play. I asked for letters about the 4-day. I had 3 return letters in time to put on the board packet. One's from Alberton Schools, it's Miss Amanda Sear. One's from Drummond Schools, Mr. Dean Phillips. And one's from Lincoln Schools, Mr. Tom Barnett. I threw those in there for the board members to read, all in support of the 4-day. And they all kind of have the same same dialogue of, hey, it works for recruitment and tension. I think some of them can be read as, is it the best thing in the world? Maybe not. But is it what's working now? Is it what we've adapted to? Is we have a teacher shortage? Yes. And we're still adapting. We're still trying to figure out what works and make tweaks. This is our third year of it, and we can look to others and pull. But like with Mr. Phillips here, I just want to read out his last. The 4-day school week also has a profound impact on adolescent health. Data from the Oregon Healthy Teens Survey suggests that reduced school exposure via the 4-day school week can lead to improved sleep and behavioral health, as long as the remaining 4 days do not start too early. For rural students who may already be rising at 6 a.m. to catch a bus, the extra day off or rest is a vital recharge that improves focus from Monday through Thursday. Working together to share resources and to support each other. I believe that for the future of both schools, this will be necessary that continues to increase importance. Moving one school away from the 4-day school week will, in my opinion, result in less success in these efforts. I urge you to continue with the 4-day school week, not only for what seems to be the right decision for your community, but also for the collaboration and success of both schools in Granite County. So, again, there's the 3. I wish I could have got more. I did call and have great conversations with all the superintendents, and I think there's just, everybody's different, right? Like Peter has its own set of parameters. If I'm recruiting and pulling, it's from Anaconda, Drummond, Missoula. We're not an interstate school. Interstate school, I give Dean a hard time all the time. Like, you lucky dog, you know, you can pull them down the interstate a lot easier than I can. We're coming all the way from one side or the other. Housing's another crisis, right? When I look in the real estate booklet and I see Lake and Smith's house go for $325,000, and I'm looking around saying, how can we get teachers making $42,000 in here? How are we going to get them in here? So, going off on a tangent. We had multiple letters of support from staff that we put in for the board to read. And this is from staff currently working in Philipsburg School, just with their honest on the 4-day and where they're sitting. Attendance, well, I'm gonna start with the ACT data for myself. ACT data, I know it's sideways, so I think I need to open and rotate for us. Or maybe download. Awkward sentence. Oh, it's not gonna work. All right, so, sorry. 4-day data. We don't have this year's data, but last year, man, I wish this would have been, look at this. ACT data, our scores were 19.09. Year before, 18.17. Year before that, 18.17, the year before that, 18.67, 18.17. So we did go up. Last year, our ACT scores went up. And we're shooting to beat last year's scores. ACT is used for juniors, it's used for placement into colleges, but that's the score and the big data one that we want to use for high school. That's what colleges ask for and have always asked for to get students to enroll and be accepted into college. That's the score we want to post downtown alongside our state championship banners and say, this is our average score, and you know, this is the one where we want to say if we can get up to 22, 23, 24 of what we can do in our community and represent positivity, athletics and academics. So that's how we test at the high school level. I also pulled GPAs from 2026 this year, which we're only halfway through the year, all the way back to 2015. What I found, I looked for the highest GPA and the lowest GPA per year. I cut out the students' names. They're mixed by grades, but when I looked through it and I highlighted, no student is on or is below a 2 point during the 4-year. Now, if you go back a few years, there's intermix. Here was Nice and Johnson. The year they were here, our lowest was 1.25. And then you go back to St. John's years. St. John, his highest was 4.05, his lowest was 2.25. His first year, he had a 1.5 and a 1.7, so there was 2 1 points. We go back to color years. Last year, a 4 point and a 2 point. 4 point and 2 point. And then we hit a year with 4.7, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students with 1 point averages. The year before, our highest 4.57, but another 1, 2, 3, 4 students with 1 point averages. I think if we look at just the data, we can see we haven't had any 1 points on the 4-day. So I think that's the data that can show it's working. And that's just the high school data. I didn't pull 7th and 8th grade data, which I can add more. But if we're preparing them for college, for careers, TTEs, whatever we're doing is working because we're keeping the grade point up. I think we made a graph out of it. I don't know where I hid it. It's right here. With the help of AI. So the green years show growth in those GPAs. The red years show a decline. And this year it's showing a decline, but we're not finished. We're halfway through the year, right? So I think this year will show another green. But look, if we go back the last 2 years, they were green. So there was growth in GPAs. But this year it's showing a red.
Last year.
Yeah, but I would think by the end of the school year, this will be green. Highest overall performance was year 24-25, and this is just grades 9 through 12. Lowest overall performance, 2016-2017. Biggest increase was in year 2001 to 2022. 10-year average, we sit about a 3.5 for our GPAs. And then attendance. Okay, so again, this one now is all grades. And I think it's fair to say if students are here, they're gonna get the instruction. If they get the instruction, they're gonna have the test scores. They're gonna have everything that we want. And not only are they gonna have the test scores, but they're gonna be around the teachers and the role modeling and the culture and be well-rounded students. So here's our attendance for this year, and here's the number you need to look at right there. It's, as of right now, our K through 12 is sitting at a 96.96% attendance rate. I'm rounding that up to 97%. Right now where it sits, we have 97 percentile for attendance. That is outstanding. I do think it will go down towards the end of the year because we get tired towards the end of the year and people miss more school towards the end of the year. But what we've been on students about is trying to keep this number up to rock star our attendance, because this is the best year we've ever had. And then if we go to last year, we ended up with 92.17. We go to the year before, 91.08. And that was the first year of the 4-day. So each year it has been getting better. And I think as we put more work into it, it will only keep getting better with 4 days. Students will realize it's only 4 days, you have to be here. Administrators will get better at the scheduling with the community and the board and the sports, and we'll keep getting our students here. And if they're here, we should be able to then work on turn on instruction and test scores. I think that's a fair argument. And then if we go further back, the year before was a 5-day. This was my first year here. It was a 5-day. Our attendance was 90.52%, even lower. Coming out of, then the year before when Nice was here and Johnson finished the year, 91.02. Year before, St. John's second year, 91.40. St. John's first year, 91.83. So we back to Cutler. This was Cutler's last year, 95.06. That was a great year. The year before that, 92.40. Year before that, 92.09. Year before that, I didn't go any further than that. But right now where we're sitting and with our data from last year for attendance, we're doing great. And if we can keep kids coming to school, we can instruct them when they're at school, and we can raise test scores is our hope. And that's the goal. Community survey. So it was asked of us to put out a community survey, and we wanted to give it to staff, we wanted to give it to students, and we wanted to give it to parents of students. And then we did want to open one up, but at a different time. And we weren't hiding anything, like, we put one out. It was out for 7 days. When you vote for President of the United States, you get 1 day to vote for that president. When you vote for board elections, which is coming up, you get 1 day until 8 p.m. We gave 7 days to come in and take this from 8 to 4. I feel like that was more than fair. You know, I am getting a little heat. It wasn't fair with time, but I think 7 days compared to like a board election or an electoral election, it shows we gave a fair amount of time. This is what we had. We had 35 people take the survey. 29 people, 82% are saying they're very satisfied with the 4-day week. 1 was neutral, 4 were dissatisfied, and 1 was very dissatisfied. If dissatisfied, why? Test scores and instructional times. The good teachers left when this was put in place. Significant drop in student outcomes, low test scores. A 5-day to go to school is a good thing. It is good for students. Do you have a relative attending Philipsburg schools? 20 said yes, 15 said no. They have the relationships there. How many schools have you attended? There was additional comments. They're in there. I'm not going to go over them. I don't think, unless you guys want.
They're printed in the back if anybody wants a copy.
That's where all the stuff I kind of wanted to hit. I need to close, like.
Well, let's do the financials next.
Do the financial?
Yep.
I just wanted to.
This is really isn't public comment time.
I understand, but it's just a basic question. It's not to attack anyone. Are we reviewing the 4-day and only, like, I came here to see the academic part of it, and are we only looking at the GPA?
No.
Are we going to see other scores as well?
Yeah, I did have this one too, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'll start 7th and 8th grade down. 15 minutes, because I did forget about this, so thank you. Okay, so here is the mockcast, and for everybody's educational piece. Last year was the first year of mockcast. This year is the second year of mockcast. So 3 years ago, it was SBAC. SBAC, the way it worked, is at the end of the year, on 1 day, students took tests. Mockcast, starting last year, they're masked. There was 4 tests. This year, they dropped it down to 3 tests, like a fall, winter, spring. We're in window 2 that ends March 6th. So we're still getting this year's data. Last year's data, we didn't get till October. And it is kind of hard because if you get all this data from last year in October, how as administrators do you staff for that? How do you hire over the summer, get those people in place and make changes? Like it almost pushes us to wait till the next year. And so like, again, it makes it very hard when there's constraints on administration when you get data in October and not in June. Previous comments I made, right? So here is from last year, and this is 7th grade math, so it was our 7th grade is now our 8th grade. The Montana average, this is where you want to look, was 309. Our students scored 313. We were higher than the state average. Here's 8th grade, so now they're the freshmen. State average, 309. We were 309. We met state average. So that's math. Last year, first year, and again, trying to figure it out. Last year we learned from it and we got better. We were like, hey, that was our first time go around. Now we know what we need to teach, what tests we need to put at what times of the year, so that hopefully our scores are actually better. What's saddening is we are teaching to the test. When we put that test in and we say, okay, now let's get ready and let's teach for that test, and then how can we add on the others that make us a whole rounded child, we will get that in. But the way it's set up is we have to plan for the whole year, and you have to have all your tests put in by administrators by September I have to sit with Mr. Keltner and say, you're gonna take these 12 tests at this time, and then it's locked in, and he has to put those students in that organization throughout the year. We can't change them. They're set up for the year. So here's our ELA. So this was last year, and so these are 7th graders, now 8th graders. State average was 312, we got 311. 1 under. Is it acceptable? No. We want to be above, so we work on it. Here was our 8th graders. Montana was 311, we hit 311. We met. Do we want that? No, we want above. We want to keep working on it and get better. But when you get this data in October, how does administrators hire people and put them in place to change recruitment? You don't. You have what you have, you work with them, and you redirect, and you use the data you get where we're lacking, and you go to the teachers and you work with the teachers. Hey, we tested low here. This is what we need to work on. Hey, did we put that test at the right point of the year? No, we didn't. We need to put that at the end of the year. And all this stuff was working and is working, but it's going to be tougher without 2 of us. So here's our data for ELA, 7th and 8th grade. Math, ELA, hit. Do you want to do elementary? Okay, keep rolling. Dibbles. Okay. 3rd grade, so now 4th grade. 3rd grade, Montana average last year was 307. Philipsburg schools got 311. We beat it. Sorry. 4th grade, 308, 288. Things have happened. We have made interventions. Mr. Keltner, whose math scores I showed you, is teaching 4th grade math. That gives Mrs. Candage a period to work on athletics and prep for the athletics. The interventions happened. The changes were made for the benefit of the students. 5th grade, Montana was 306, 296. Now let's do some remembering. Mrs. Smith was 5th grade, she left. We changed, we have a new teacher, We're still working, and again, helping students. 6th grade math, 307, 300. We were right under, but I'm here to tell you right now, because I looked at Mrs. Walkley's last week, all the students are proficient this year. All of them. And we celebrated, didn't we, Miss Walkley? So, no. Margie Lee asked, are these the same students? These are the students that are now in 7th grade with Mr. Keltner, and we can take his, and they are all proficient and working. Okay. Exit out. ELA. Okay, 3rd grade. 308, we were at 30. Montana's 308, we were at 307. That was 3rd grade. Miss Erin Galley, she's gone. We started over with Mrs. Parent this year. Montana for 4th grade is 312, we got 301. Fifth grade, Montana's 315, we hit 315. 5th grade, 6th grade. 6th grade, Montana was 309, we were at 303. So, and that was the first year of this testing. And we got the data in October. And now we can go through the data, we can meet, we can have PDs, we can make the changes and make it work. That's why we do it, so that we can see it, we can look, and we can work with teachers and make those little minute changes to help students. Dibbles, you want to hit?
If you pull it up, I'll just. So the top line of each class, the grades are on the side, and then it has the beginning of the year and then middle of the year. And so you can see the growth we've made for each grade. And then at the very top is the entire elementary school. And this is just a different benchmark assessment, which is given by teachers, and it's so we test all K through 6th grade. So we've had a lot of growth in most classes. We've also had some students come in and students leave, so that kind of skews the data a little bit, but yeah, we have a lot of growth between beginning and middle of year. We had 16 students exit intervention after the middle of year benchmark because they made enough gains to be at grade level.
And what I think we want to see here is less red.
Yeah, red, sorry. Red is, yep, where the intensive, yellow is strategic, means they're needing a little extra support. Green is on target, and yellow, or blue is above. And then we also this year added the math, Dibbles math for just K-1-2 because we didn't want to over-test the kids that have to take the MAST assessment. So we, and it was their first year, so we just wanted to try it out. So beginning of year to middle of year, we have a lot of growth in math. If you look at our scores, like that's a whole lot of blue. So good job, teachers. I think all the good teachers left.
So that was all the data.
Does the board have any questions on any of these reports?
There's a lot of data to go through. I skimmed over it. I don't have any questions.
Do we have a way to, I mean, I'm sure there is, but to compare last year's data of the same class? You know, last year, a fifth grader would have been in fourth grade. To compare the same class going up.
To where they are right now?
Yeah, looking for the trend, losses, gains over the years.
Yeah. We don't have the math testing, but we have
because it was the
Dibbles.
first year.
Yeah.
And we don't have Dibbles math either, but we do have
reading Dibbles.
I guess we would have to look for that. I don't know. We would have to look.
I think it's just good to look at the trend of a class. And you can't announce it in public, but, you know, the individual even in every class.
Yeah.
To see if the individual.
All the individual students are making gains, even if they're, you know, not at grade level, there's growth in every student.
Yeah.
Just measured by the testing?
Yeah, so you can see the growth, like, let's say, if you had a student that was intensive, they might have went from 300 to 318. They're still making gains, they're just not where they're supposed to be. And a lot of those students, you know, are.
Like, we went down $150,000, right? It's nice to buy programs that cost a lot of money, like maps, IXL, things like that, but it's also nice to find free ones. What I used this year, 7th through 12th grade, 7th, 8th, and 9th took pre-algebra prep ed ready. They're in it right now. Some of them haven't finished yet. We do have some that have finished and got 100%, and that's the practice. Then what did I do? 10th and 11th graders are in ACT prep. The practice for the ACT test is a junior. Seniors were taking pathway to college, just getting ready with some math skills, getting ready before they go to college. If I could do it again, which we will, well, next year when we do it, I would like to put 7th and 8th graders and possibly 4th or 3rd through 8th grade in math prep through Ed Ready. Do that first, because that's the test, right? The math, we want to practice and get ready for the math test. So if we put those kids in that, and it's free, and it's practice, they'll be practiced up for math and ELA and MAST, and it's aligned to the MAST, and it's Ed Ready through state standards in the MAST, and it's free. Why wouldn't we use it? So make the students do that first, and then if they finish that, we can do the algebra afterwards. Or we can, you know, there's being a good kid, there's 5K goals, there's culinary arts, stuff that they want to do. They can take those as well. My favorite new one is nicotine prevention, so I'm just kind of waiting for our next bait. And the student that gets 3 days ISS will be taking nicotine prevention and Ed Ready while they're in ISS. So, the Ed Ready is a plan right now because it's free and it's working. And students, do you like the practice?
Yep.
And
Be honest with
Yeah. I think it's working. I think the interventions we put in place are working, and I do think, like I stated before, it's a flywheel. There's a lot of pieces that go into this. And once the flywheel gets going, it's gonna be very hard to stop. And, you know, if kids are coming, which our attendance show it is, then we can teach them. And if kids are happy to be here, which it sounds like they are, we can teach them. Everything's working and winning. I hope that's the narrative that's getting out. It is working. And I think, I see a lot of people that left already. It's hard to educate people when they come and then they leave. When we actually go into the meat and potatoes of the meeting, there's a lot of people that come for public comment and then leave. And then they miss the educational piece.
Is there somewhere they can get that data?
I mean, it's all here.
It's all on OPI.
It's posted on our website, or all
You look
the
for
graphs
the
we just looked at are on our website?
People can come in, request a board pack, we can print it, get it ready. I mean, I think we're doing great.
Any other questions from the board? And we can keep working on this, like if we want to see more data, especially going with our strategic planning and those numbers that we talked about last week of, are we hitting those numbers? We can keep working on this. So we
I'd
make
like to
sure
know
we're verifying.
what each, well, for instance, if a certain student is struggling with, fractions in third grade, so what happened in fourth? Are they still struggling? Have we done something, to meet that particular student? Or I bet there's more fractions this hard, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe the teacher needs to realize, they probably do, I'm just probably, whatever. Okay, this is an area for not just this student, but 4 or 5 of these students. So some more type of intervention would be necessary to boost them up in their fractional understanding. It could be, a comparison, it could be a tutor thing, it could be all kinds of different things. But I think pinpointing as best we can what a student is struggling with. Because if they're struggling in third, they're probably going to struggle all the way down. Unless there's that intervention somehow. So I don't know if we can solve the problem. I just think it's an interesting thing to look at for the kids. So.
Thanks. All right, Catherine, do you want to show us your report for the comparison finances?
Okay. I took a look at financial numbers from 2017 up until now. I didn't include 2026 numbers in some of my estimations because we're not finished with the year. So looking at certified staff, if you increase their contractual days, you lower their daily rate. And so I did an estimation on what that would mean. And so looking at that, and then also looking at classified staff, you increase number of days, you increase hours, so their pay just goes up. You also look at administration, you increase contractual days, you lower the daily rate. Excuse me. So then I had to do some estimations to kind of look at what we're going to do, because there is negotiations with certified staff this spring, and I'm pretty sure that some of those topics are going to be coming up in negotiations, as well as their paid time off decreased from 20 days to 15 days, and I'm pretty sure they're going to ask for those additional 5 days back. So I had to also look at what does that add up to. And so all of that together, and that includes, wages, TRS, which is Teachers Retirement System, Public Employment Retirement System, unemployment, workman's comp, FICA, which is our Social Security, Medicare, everything that an employer has to pay. I estimated around $211,508.38 that we would need in our budget to accommodate those increases in salaries and wages, which is pretty substantial. That's the main substance there. I also looked at transportation and classified staff for transportation, bus drivers. We did have a decrease going to a 5-day, but I had already estimated their salary increase and what I already talked about. I looked at heat, electricity. We pay for our heat and electricity out of our general fund and our transportation fund. They weren't like hugely significant, except our heat. And on that, I have to give kudos to Bob McGuire for really making our boilers efficient and really working on things, because it was really substantial, the savings that we're getting there. But some of it is also that the 5-day, the Friday is not being utilized, but there's still activities going on. So it's not as big as you think it would be, because there's still games, there's still people coming in using the gym, there's still activities going on, maybe not the same as a regular school in session. I also looked at substitutes. Down at the very bottom, I think at the top, I have I did a comparison of where substitutes were. And I did an estimation of what they could potentially be, because the truth was, when I was talking with the high school secretary about staff taking time off Fridays, it increases. Because they need a day off. Sometimes students are gone for athletics, and teachers might also take time off on Fridays as well. So I estimated about a $19,000 increase on that. And so we're looking at potentially, I mean, these are all estimations, but about $239,418.81. Food, right now we're on the CEP program, which is the Community Eligibility Program, I believe it's called. And so we have, and it's not a budgeted fund, it's more of like you spend, and then you take in revenue from anyone who's paying for lunches, and you also get claims that come from the feds to help pay for everything. So it's kind of like you spend, and then you get some money, and you spend, and you kind of get some money. And they were pretty similar, you know, like we're really not that much different. And so I didn't really estimate an increase in there. Part of the 212 fund is salaries, and I already estimated for those. So the main thing is just paying staff. That's it.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for Catherine? Thank you for putting all that together. All right, and thank you for all the time that you guys put in to get all this information for us. As a reminder, we're not voting on a policy between a 4-day or a 5-day week. We do not have a policy in writing saying what our school calendar is. We also have no policy saying that we review our school calendars or all of this data and information. 3 years ago, when we voted on a 4-day calendar, we said in good faith we will review it in 3 years to see how it's been working. And so that's what we've been taking this time to do. We've received a substantial amount of correspondence reflecting input from the community and our staff and our students. We've also gathered feedback from all these surveys that everybody has put in. We've reviewed this information here tonight. So what the next steps are is that we have the school calendar committee that puts together a calendar that we will vote on next month. And that consists of staff and administration, and they present the best calendar for our school district. And the board considers all of the information and we've considered here, and then we vote on the calendar, which will be back on the agenda next week. So with all of the input that we've gotten and all the time that we've spent doing this, we've decided not to hold a public forum between this meeting and the next one. If anybody has more input they'd like to give, there are more opportunities to do that. You can write a letter to the board that will be in correspondence with the board packet next time. You can comment during public comment. We will have a session, the calendar will be an item for action on the agenda. And so after we have motion, we always will ask for public comment on that item for action, and then people will have the opportunity to make public comments again at that point. If you have any questions about any of the information or the data, please let us know, and we are happy to talk about it. But we appreciate everybody taking part of this process and engagement, and we're looking forward to the final step in this whole process next month.
I did have one more thing to add, because I wanted to put in the superintendent report, or just give it out. You guys, public needs to know, we do have people and parents that want to come here. We do. I took a phone call at probably 7:30 today, and it's on my phone, I could show you. A parent wants to come here next year for the 4-day from Anaconda, wants to be on the basketball team. They're coming. I can go to Miss, I'm out of mind. Who's our student we graduated as a junior?
Oh.
Simon Kirsch. Miss Kirsch talked to me when I went to get my blood pressure medicine because I needed to double up in the last month. And I've been taking 2. And so she goes, I'm going to come. Do you want me to come? We came from Bozeman. We had a cabin lake. We came for the 4-day. We wanted to be not a number, but a name. He graduated as a junior and is at Bozeman. We are finding ways to have individual students accounted for and pushing them up and helping just pick them up and push them up and get them ready. Kids still want to come here. I think that narrative, we still have a lot of people that want to come here, and they want the 4-day. They want the small school atmosphere. They want the culture. So I think, I don't want the narrative going out that people don't want to come here. People do want to come here. People like being here. So I think that needed to be added.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to our next item on the agenda are the financials. There's a motion for the financials. Or do you guys want to look at Catherine's report first? Sorry. Did you guys have any questions for Catherine on her report?
The Board of Trustees of Philipsburg School District Number 1 moves to approve payroll warrants 64074 through 64096, direct deposits 83857 through 83894, claims 17917 through 17951, and Visa $11,288.76, Huffman's $606.86, Blackfoot $486.16, Dex Imaging $107.97, and Kevlar Law $1,759.27.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Moving on to our items for action, item A.
I wrote a little thing about this. Let me pull it up real quick.
I can pull it up too. Okay, approve budget amendment resolution. My recommendation is that the board approves the budget amendment resolution as requested.
We received a letter from OPI that we get to, without making a proclamation or notice, we get to submit to OPI a budget amendment to receive $6,653.60 more, because they estimated that we had an A and B increase in their 3-year average that they do. So I was like, hooray.
So I think I can throw my comment in now.
Okay.
With the last How Kaliva law, and we pay that money, I think if we could be kind to each other, we wouldn't pay that Kaliva law. Our $6,000 we just got could go to students and not to lawyers. See where I'm going with that?
Yeah. So just out of the blue, did they get on it or something?
No, they just send a letter around this time if you're going to have any A and B increase, that money that you can receive, and you don't have to go through the regular, like if we had overspent in our budget, we'd have to do this big huge thing and it would have to get approved and all of this stuff, but because it's just part of them doing their calculation and they're saying, you guys get 6,000 and change more, then we get to sign this and submit it and get them extra additional monies. And it has to be done before March 1st, I believe is the deadline.
All right, so moved.
Did he read the recommendation? Shoot.
I think he did.
Yeah, I think he did too.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Any other comments or questions from the board? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item B.
Offer a contract to high school head track coach. My recommendation is the Board of Trustees offers a head track coaching contract to Justin Bloom for the 2026 high school track season.
So moved.
A second.
Any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item C.
Offer contract to assistant track coach. My recommendation is the Board of Trustees offer an assistant high school track coaching contract to Brandy Morales for the 2026 high school track season.
So moved.
I second.
Does the board have any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item D.
Offer contract to junior high head track coach. My recommendation is that the board offers a head junior high track coaching contract to Caitlin Walkley for the 2026 junior high track season.
So moved.
I second. Put Connie on for that one.
Okay,
great. Any comments or questions from the board? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item passes. Item E.
Offer contract to high school head tennis coach. My recommendation is for the Board of Trustees to offer a head tennis coaching contract to Heather Rich for the 2026 high school tennis season.
So moved. I second.
Does the board have any comments or questions?
She did it last year.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item F.
Offer contract to high school assistant tennis coach. My recommendation is the Board of Trustees offers us an assistant tennis coaching contract to Leanne Tinesh for the 2026 high school tennis season. And I just make a comment. With tennis season, they put boys and girls tennis matches in separate towns. So usually we have to send Heather Rich one way and Leanne Tinesh separate ways because they haven't combined towns yet, which would make it nice, but it's not, you gotta have two because they're the same day.
So moved.
I second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you to everybody who's coaching our kids. We appreciate you. All right, item G.
Approve Roots and Resilience contract services for lunchtime counseling session. My recommendation is that the board approves Roots and Resilience contracting services to host no less than 1 and no more than 5 counseling sessions for 1 or more GHS 7 through 12 grade students to be served in a lunchtime group counseling session with parent approval. And we did this last year with 6th grade students, and this was just a rerun for this year. Any students that want to sign up, offer it again.
Okay. Make a motion.
The Board of Trustees of Philipsburg School District Number 1 moves to approve the Roots and Resilience contracting service to host no less than 1 or more than 5 counseling sessions for 1 or more GHS 7 through 12 grade students to be served at lunchtime group counseling session with parental approval.
Okay. And how will we get the information out to families so that people can sign up for it?
The contractor.
They do it.
Make their flyer and put it out. And then we can distribute it. Yep.
Any other comments or questions?
Should we add elementary? I think I just put 7 through 12, but could add.
I think we're doing pretty good.
Okay.
I don't think there's a necessity this year.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes. Item H.
My recommendation is for the board to approve to create a food service clearing account for online lunch bills. Now that we can.
So this is creating a food service clearing account in the student activity fund. It's a way because since our general fund and food fund and all of that stuff, that money is deposited with our county treasurer. So she doesn't like a lot of ACHs coming in. So we can use our student activity account that's at the bank. And if we have a little clearing account in there, then people can pay any lunch balances online and it gets deposited in. I get an itemized report with which student it goes to, and then I'm able to clear it out at the end of the month, so there's no balance in it. It's just a wash. It's just moving it through. Then it goes to our elementary secretary that applies it with all her food stuff, and it gets receipted in there. And then I get the deposit back and I take it to the county. It's just a way to move it through without doing ACHs with the county, and it gives convenience and ease for parents or staff.
The Board of Trustees of Philipsburg School District Number 1 moves to approve to create a food service clearing account for online lunch bills.
Please a second.
Oh, I second.
Okay. Does the board have any other comments or questions?
Is this something that, I'm sorry, but actually I do. Say, somebody in the community that is not related to the student that owes the bills can also put money in for?
No, you can go through the parent portal. You'd have to log in under the parent portal and have access to the bill to then make the payment.
Okay, I just like adopt a.
Yeah, if someone wanted to make like say they wanted to donate some money to pay for a student's bill, they could just contact the school and then write a check and submit something that way.
Oh, okay.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, our next scheduled board meeting is March 10th. Joy has a conflict on that night. So unless could you Zoom in so we have you on video and can see you? Would that be possible?
Yeah, I probably could.
Okay. Otherwise, I think it'd be important to have all of us here. So we'd have to look at a different date. But would you feel comfortable having Joy on video here for us all to see and hear? Okay. So we'll work on getting that set up for you, and we'll look at your computer and camera and everything so we can make that happen. So we'll leave our regular meeting on Tuesday, March 10th at 5:30 here in this room, and we'll adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.